The world sits atop a powder keg of unimaginable destructive power. Multiple nations possess weapons capable of annihilating entire cities in a single blast. Current estimates suggest the existence of approximately 15,000 nuclear weapons distributed among 9 nations. The United States and Russia hold the lion's share of this terrifying arsenal. Each nation possesses roughly 7,000 nuclear warheads, a number that dwarfs the combined arsenals of the remaining nuclear powers. The remaining nuclear-capable nations collectively possess around 1,000 nuclear weapons. The intricate web of treaties, deterrents, and safeguards designed to prevent their use is a fragile barrier against potential catastrophe. The continued existence of nuclear weapons represents a gamble with the fate of civilization itself. The sheer scale of the global nuclear arsenal becomes horrifyingly clear when we consider its potential impact on human populations. Imagine the devastating consequences of unleashing these weapons upon the world's cities. If we were to allocate just 3 nuclear weapons to each major city with a population exceeding 100,000, the current arsenal could effectively wipe out nearly 5,000 urban centers. This horrifying calculation translates to the potential deaths of roughly 3 billion people, half of humanity, in a global nuclear holocaust. Even after this unthinkable devastation, a chilling surplus of 1,500 nuclear weapons would remain. The capacity for destruction far outstrips any rational need for defense. The instantaneous annihilation of Hiroshima and Nagasaki serve as stark reminders of the devastating consequences of nuclear warfare. The continued existence of these weapons represents an unacceptable risk to the future of humanity. Let's shift our focus to another chilling scenario: the simultaneous detonation of all existing nuclear weapons in a single location. Imagine the entirety of the world's nuclear arsenal concentrated in the heart of the Amazon rainforest. The resulting explosion would be an event of unimaginable violence, dwarfing anything humanity has ever witnessed. The combined explosive power of 15,000 nuclear weapons detonating simultaneously would be equivalent to 15 times the force of the Krakatoa eruption in 1883. The immediate aftermath of this detonation would be apocalyptic. A fireball spanning 50 kilometers would engulf the surrounding rainforest in an instant. The blast wave would flatten everything within a 3,000 square kilometer radius, instantly transforming a lush ecosystem into a scorched wasteland. A mushroom cloud, dwarfing those that haunted the skies over Hiroshima and Nagasaki, would rise from the inferno, punching its way into the stratosphere. The immediate aftermath of a combined nuclear detonation in the Amazon rainforest would be catastrophic. But the long-term consequences would be even more far-reaching. The sheer scale of the explosion would have a devastating impact on the global climate, potentially plunging the planet into a prolonged period of darkness and cold. The massive injection of dust, ash, and smoke into the atmosphere would block out the sun, leading to a phenomenon known as nuclear winter. Global temperatures could plummet for several years, disrupting agriculture and ecosystems worldwide. Beyond the immediate devastation and the onset of nuclear winter, the long-term effects of such an event would be felt for generations. Global background radiation levels would double, significantly increasing the incidence of cancer and other radiation-related illnesses. While the detonation of the entire global nuclear arsenal in a single event would be catastrophic, it is important to note that current models do not predict a human extinction event. However, the world they inherited would be a vastly different place. Having explored the devastating consequences of detonating the existing global nuclear arsenal, let's now push the boundaries of this hypothetical scenario even further. Imagine a world where humanity, driven by madness or desperation, decides to maximize its capacity for self-destruction. This maximal scenario involves mining all of Earth's available uranium, estimated to be around 35 million tons, and fashioning it into a single, gargantuan weapon. The yield of this hypothetical doomsday device would be unlike anything our planet has experienced since the Chicxulub impact, the asteroid strike that wiped out the dinosaurs 66 million years ago. The detonation of this weapon would unleash unimaginable forces upon the Earth. A crater spanning hundreds of kilometers would be carved into the planet's surface, vaporizing rock and ejecting trillions of tons of debris into the atmosphere. The shock waves from the blast would trigger earthquakes and volcanic eruptions across the globe, reshaping continents and unleashing tsunamis that would dwarf anything in recorded history. The long-term consequences of this maximal nuclear event would be truly apocalyptic. In the wake of a maximal nuclear event, the Earth would be transformed into a hostile and unforgiving wasteland. The once familiar landscapes would be scarred beyond recognition, and the delicate balance of life would be shattered. Survival in this post-apocalyptic world would be a constant struggle against the elements, radiation, and the remnants of a shattered civilization. Those fortunate enough to survive the initial blast and the ensuing firestorms would face a world shrouded in darkness and choked with toxic fumes. The air would be filled with radioactive particles, making every breath a gamble. Food and water sources would be contaminated, and shelter from the harsh elements would be scarce. The survivors of this nuclear apocalypse would be left to pick up the pieces of a shattered world and rebuild civilization from the ashes. Generations would be born into a world poisoned by radiation, where the remnants of the old world served as a constant reminder of humanity's folly. The hypothetical scenarios we have explored paint a grim picture of the potential consequences of nuclear war. The destructive power at our disposal is undeniable, and the stakes have never been higher. The choice before us is clear: we can continue to live under the shadow of nuclear annihilation, or we can choose a different path, a path of disarmament and peace. The responsibility to make this choice rests squarely on our shoulders. The future of humanity depends on the decisions we make today. We must recognize that nuclear weapons are not tools of security, but instruments of annihilation. Let us work together as nations and as individuals to rid the world of these weapons of mass destruction. The survival of our species depends on it. If you like this content, please like and subscribe and hit that bell icon for more.